I'm happy to talk a little bit about the journey so far. I'm a serial entrepreneur.
Mhm.
I got my start as a academic researcher. I was a National Science Foundation fellow at University of California, Berkeley. Um, Published quite a bit in the fields of human-computer interaction. Ran a company straight out of graduate school for about 6 years. Crowdbotics has been around for the last 7 years. We are focused on code operations, which is the idea that you can use code reuse and generative AI to accelerate the process of software development by about 70%. Taking things from a concept, an idea, a set of loose requirements down to a formalized application structure and storyboard in a relatively short amount of time, um, while using code that's been built before to accelerate the process of software creation. Over that time, we've scaled up quite a bit. Today, we're at about 120 full-time employees. Some of our best lessons for how to build teams and communities most effectively. It's always helpful to hire for folks who are experienced, for leaders who are strong, who have done the job before, and who can be effective partners in running the business, and also to find people who are strongly motivated to try and bring their best into any situation. That tends to provide a great experience for everybody who gets to work with them, for our customers, for teammates, and for more. There's my quick assessment for how we've built such a high-performing team so far. As an entrepreneur, it's always interesting to ask the question about who inspired us and how we got here. I think when I was growing up, I was actually inspired by a lot of scientists and mathematicians, folks who ended up spending their lives thinking really deeply about individual problems and how to solve them. And I think there's a singular kind of dedication that it takes to try and focus your life on thinking about how to solve a hard set of problems with extreme dedication for many, many years. And Growing up, those are the people who always inspired me the most. I think that some of those questions translate very well, somewhat naturally, into leadership and entrepreneurship, in the sense that when you are building an organization, uh, the problems of your customers ends up becoming the problems that you have to solve and focus on deliberately and thoroughly as you scale up. I think in those cases, uh, there's a translation that's a little bit more natural than you'd think between careers in mathematics or science and entrepreneurship. Um, I'm really excited by the work that we get to do every day here in building powerful technology for customers who are usually building world-changing or world-running products. For us, we focus on the questions of how to build what we call mission-critical software, meaning software that matters for people when they are building um, large-scale health systems, financial systems, government systems, major e-commerce platforms, customer experience platforms. These are all the kinds of things that we end up seeing our customers create. And collectively, they touch millions and millions and millions of people. One of the great things that we get to do by virtue of the fact that we are creating and enabling the creation of software products that run the world, essentially, is that we get to have impact directly on a vast swath of how people do their day-to-day jobs, their lives, and in some cases, we even get to work on things that have really life or death impacts in places. So those are really motivating places for us to be able to help. Crowdbotics is actually, it's not something we always talk about, but we're actually a public benefit corporation. What that means is that we think the software is a way to create good in the world. And especially helping teams, groups inside the enterprise and outside the enterprise who have not built software before or who have never built software in the Crowdbotics way before to create better software. That is a great way to help people who are domain experts create technology and use the benefits of software in places they might not have considered it in the past. So that keeps me motivated. It's a driving passion for how I do my day-to-day work, but it's also something that I know many folks here at Crowdbotics are also passionate about. So work-life balance can always be challenging whenever there are important things to be done. For me, I keep it straightforward. We make sure that irrespective of the challenges faced during the day or on a tight schedule, that I always make time to spend with my own family, and I encourage people on my team to make sure that they spend time with their families as well, since these are places that ultimately carry a lot of importance in our own lives, and places where even while we are passionate and bringing our full selves to the work that we do, you can bring a fuller self to your work if you have made the time to spend with the people you care about. So that's something that I think about, and that I personally encourage people to focus on in their own lives as well. So, look, CodeOps as a movement is starting to get increasing urgency for many organizations, given the prominence of generative AI in many of the strategic discussions companies are having. So today, when companies are asking, how do we accelerate our software development process? How do we improve our time to market? How do we increase our efficiency? Often the answer becomes, well, we need to think about how to do this with accelerating our products' software development life cycles, and by using artificial intelligence to speed up that process, to accelerate the workflows that we're building with, and to make sure that we're actually taking advantage of these technologies to speed things up. So we are excited to scale up what we are doing, specifically by virtue of investing more heavily into AI elements of our product. We have a bunch of great stuff coming out at the back half of this year, in the first half of next year, and throughout the next 2 years, that's really supporting our enterprise customers in outlining and accelerating their software development processes. We should expect to see that both our footprint inside the enterprise and the success of these individual enterprise customers in reducing their own times to market continue to improve as we scale up with the most recent funding event. And so we're excited to see this wave of growth continue, and we're excited to see the great things that our customers can build on top of that as well. So there's a big remit here in each of those topics, so we can break this out. Obviously, inside domains like fintech, as one example, we've seen increasing opportunities and pressure to first standardize how people build software around more and more pushing behind API layers, behind standalone services, and behind essentially niche product providers that are offering up their services via APIs. This is a really cool innovation to see happening, because it means that companies who want to build things like neobanks or, let's say, niche insurance products really get to operate with more of a plug-and-play mentality, as opposed to saying, well, let's try and build an entire stack from scratch. You mentioned DevOps. Of course, in the regime of DevOps in particular, everyone is really focused on DevSecOps, meaning how do we do really secure activities really early in our product planning lifecycle and make sure those are standard. We have seen that as one of the most popular so-called modules or reusable components inside the Crowdbotics platform, where people are looking to take advantage of secure DevOps pipelines out of the box as a way to build faster and accelerate their own times to market. In the context of generative AI, we've seen that more and more people are trying to ask how we can make more development-like activities happen at the edge of our organizations within domain experts, as opposed to needing to spin up giant teams of software engineers every time. I think that trend applies in each of the domains that we mentioned, which is exciting to see as well. So there's a quick look at what we think is changing here. Increased modularity, increased focus on innovation using interchangeable parts, and where innovation is being driven at the edge by artificial intelligence or reusable components baked into APIs. Whenever you have a changing landscape, of course, the fun questions start to emerge in the context of where are the challenges to get to scale and to maintain scale. So for us, I think some of the innovative pieces that we are seeing that we're very interested in following closely, the pace of innovation in generative AI means that we have to keep a pace of lots of developments at once. Right now, Crowdbotics as a product integrates with a number of competing generative AI models that we allow our customers to pick between and choose between. I think staying on top of all of these as they continue to come out is going to be a fun challenge for us to make sure that we are providing the best and most relevant stuff to our own customers. But of course, we're always excited by those challenges as well. Whenever new technology comes out into the marketplace, our customers ask us, how do we adopt this? How do we integrate this in solutions that we're building? And so our challenge is to always make sure we are making sure that the best and most recent stuff is available for our customers and also our community of developers, all of whom end up using the Crowdbotics platform to get access to that technology. So that's a great place for us to be able to sit in position. That's a great question. So one of the best things I've heard as a description of generative AI, at least in the context of software development, is if you do it wrong, then it's a credit card for unlimited technical debt inside your organizations. And that's the description you were giving of how it could be a curse. I think that the flip side, which is the side that I'm on, is that it can also be a very strong boon in the sense that there is a universe in which we, as software engineers, as developers, as product creators, get to take advantage of a real step change in how we are building software by taking a huge portion of the work that we have historically had to do manually and pushing it into essentially a smart universe of supporting assistants. The universe that we end up seeing is what we call hybrid development. We think that most organizations will end up moving to a model where their developers are going to be assisted by smart generative AI tools. Some of those tools are available in Crowdbotics in the form of smart product planning interfaces, AI tools to accelerate code generation while following standards, and more. But lots of them are also available out in the marketplace in the form of what we call copilots. And so the world that we see coming up in generative AI is one where all of us get to use these tools. It's not really sometimes people talk about replacement. Can you replace people with software? Can you replace software engineers with generative AI? Of course not, right? Not the things that generative AI tools really try to do. What they really try to do is make us more efficient. When they're done right, we really end up getting to focus on the interesting stuff and not on the 80% of software development that is currently being done maybe in places where we've already built software and don't need to go and build something again from scratch. So those are some of the places that we think about this landscape evolving.
Yeah.